Wonderful. My next guest author is Jon Marino. Okay. John's the founder of a company called Q Simple, and he empowers aspiring entrepreneurs to jumpstart their dreams. So I know that Jon is a very skilled copywriter, an AI automation expert, and a digital marketer. His amazing personal journey from civil engineer to successful entrepreneur showcases his versatile expertise and his relentless drive. The guy works harder than anybody I know. Jon transformed his side hustle into a six-figure business. And with everything that he's got going on, he's also a respiratory therapist who manages life support systems for children. Okay, that's super cool. Through stories and vivid metaphors, Jon illustrates how understanding clients' villains, their struggles, and their deeper issues and subconscious fears, and he'll tell more about that, can lead to more compelling messaging and effective solutions. So officially, please welcome my friend and copywriter, Jon Marino.
Thanks, Roger. I'm really, really grateful to be here. I love what you said at the end with Dr. Marta also about receiving a compliment. I think we love to give them and it feels real good, but then to receive them, sometimes there's some resistance to that. And it's interesting because when we reject that in a way, we're also not giving that person the opportunity to feel good about that compliment as well.
Oh, that's
right?
Beautiful. That's beautiful. People, the statistics say that what someone wants to hear someone else say to them is their name, and and all of a sudden that excites them. But can you imagine if the statistic was having someone say something nice about you,
right,
other than just your name? How that would change every conversation,
absolutely,
every relationship. Suddenly everyone's a friend,
right?
Suddenly everyone's not an enemy; it's a friend. The name of your chapter is The Villains of Transformation. Great copy. You talk about your journey from feeling trapped and frustrated in your business to discovering the power of focusing on ideal clients. Can you explain how identifying and addressing the deep-seated, as you call them, fears of ACEs, the perfect clients, can transform business?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's vet out just a little bit the idea of ACEs. When you're going through a pack of cards, there's 52 cards in a deck. There's 4 ACEs in the pack. And what I teach people is you only really need to go through about 36 or so cards before you're just really well off in your business, because you're going to find your ACEs, and those are your ideal clients, the ones you can get the best results for, the ones that are the easiest to work with and the most fun. And but at the same time, you're going to get those court cards, you're going to get the face cards as well. And that's the mission. When you're aiming for the ACEs, you're also going to get those court cards. And so when you're able to focus primarily on those people, you're able to get the best results with them. They're the most fun to work with, and everybody wins at the end.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Your chapter talks about the importance of empathy, clarity, and targeted communication in turning a side hustle into a thriving full-time business. Tell us more about that.
So when you're there's a couple different types of problems your ideal clients have. And one of my virtual mentors is Jay Abraham, the $9 billion man is what they call him, because he increased the revenue of businesses by about 9 billion over the course of his career. And that was probably a long time ago that was called out. But Jay says, if you understand the problems your target audience is having better than they do, they automatically assume you have the solution. And what a lot of people do is they come out and they talk about the problems of their ideal market, and they talk about the surface level problems, the problems that are just on top, the symptoms of the problems. And what we're able to find is that if you can go deeper through metaphor and story, if you can go deeper into the causes of these problems, that are often sort of dark things. And you talked about them with Dr. Marta, some of them like pride and envy, and a lot of other ones are like abandonment or perfectionism and things like this. If you can talk about those through story and metaphor, then you can have your ideal audience imagining themselves in the story instead of coming at them directly.
You're smart. I love the words attached to emotions that come out of your mouth. Always have. Your chapter emphasizes the importance of empathy and clarity.
Yeah.
With targeted communication. So you also stress the importance of identifying your ideal clients, or as ACEs. Can you share some strategies that we can all use to pinpoint those ideal clients?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of people know boy, and his name is escaping me, Walter something or other from Breaking Bad. I don't know why his name
is he the drug dealer, or is he the guy that makes
he's one of the main character guys, right? But the point is before they even started writing the first episode of Breaking Bad, Walter White, that's his name. See, it's coming to me now. Before they started writing the first script or the first episodes of Breaking Bad, they did about 300 pages of character development on this character. And Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird, Harper Lee said about 100 pages of character development. Now, in your audiences, in your customers' journey from where they are today, whether they're in pain or whether they're seeking some sort of success, they're the hero in their story. So you kind of owe it to them to do that sort of character development on them before you even get started with your messaging. And the challenge is we often we don't go deep enough when we're doing that type of character development. So what our team does is we do about a 65-page deep dive into the ideal customers, their demographics and the things that everybody talks about, the psychographics and things that they talk about. But we go really, really deep into the core underlying problems that this market has. And I think that that's, one of the most important things. It sets the stage for everything else that you talk about with your audience.
You use the phrase villains.
Yeah.
The villains in your clients' lives. Right. How do you figure out those deep-seated fears and struggles? And why is that understanding crucial for business transformation? People
Absolutely.
don't always wear the villainous part of themselves on their sleeves, or even know it exists in themselves.
And if you talk about it, oftentimes they'll reject it. So you have to do it very delicately, and that's through the power of story and metaphor, and that's how we do that. But who are these villains, right? And when you go back to the story idea that we were just talking about, where your ideal customer is the hero in their story, what makes a really good story? And when I ask this in front of an audience, in front of a room, they might say, the drama, the tension, you sitting at the edge of your seat, things like this, the suspense is built up. But the suspense and all these different things are built up because of the villains in the story. And the more dastardly the villain, the better the story is, right? So if you can vividly communicate through story and metaphor the deep-seated problems, the really big challenges that your ideal client is having, that's like talking about the villain and building that villain up into this big, scary thing. So you can guide, you're the guide to help your hero conquer that villain to get what it is they're looking for at the end of their story.
I love that.
Isn't that cool? I love it too.
That's a really good way of looking at it. Crafting effective solutions is a key part of your chapter. Absolutely. What steps do you recommend for business owners to develop solutions that don't only address immediate issues, but also resonate deeply with long-term goals?
Right. So the idea is when we're crafting something to show someone we can help them by actually helping them, what we're doing is we're looking at a broad long-term solution. So, they want this, or they want this, or they want this inside their business. And then we say, okay, great. That's where they're at today. And where are they at right now? Okay, great. And then we figure out the steps to get there. And then we offer a solution, often for free, that someone can take to move them closer to their goal of where they want to go. So if you're looking for ideal clients, for example, where do you start? If you're looking to better connect with your audience, where do you start? If you're looking to have more credibility in your marketplace, if you're looking to build your brand, where do you start with that? We always start with asking these questions. We start by asking, when we do a deep dive with our client, we answer about 50 questions in the light version of our ideal customer persona that go deeper than most people's customer personas do, just on the light version of what we do. And so we just start answering different questions to establish who they are, and then we bring our solution to the person that already has the problem, if that makes sense.
It does. So is that what you mean by sort of mapping out your client's journey?
Absolutely.
And how do you, and then you imagine the milestones? How does that work?
It really just depends. So if somebody wants to build what we call a PinnaclePage, this is a forward-facing page on their website, and it's designed to either get a conversion into an appointment or something like this, or to lead them into other parts of their offers and what they do. If we're looking to do that, okay, that's the end result. Well, what do we need to do to start? Well, we need to know who we're talking to. So that's step one. And then step two is we need to identify the biggest villains that are getting in their way and wreaking havoc on their life, that are preventing them from getting the thing that they want. And then and then we go and we write the copy. So those are basically the steps. Then we do the graphic design, and then we do some other steps. So those are the steps to having a fantastic message to put out to the world, basically. So we start at step one, which is who. And that's what that's part of what those questions are, is identifying exactly who we're talking to.
You're a great storyteller. I don't think people realize the non-limitations of storytelling. You think of storytelling as, oh, that person's an author, which you are, and they're telling the story of that book, or you're reading a book and that's the story, or you hear a parable and that's the story. But I really believe that all communication, every bit of communication is a story. When I talk to you and tell you what I'm having for breakfast, what I had for breakfast, that's the story of my breakfast. And it should have villains, and it should have challenges, and it should, I'm overcoming my shortening supply of cashew milk. It should have surprises. Oh my God, I found one more carton of cashew milk in the refrigerator I never look at, because it's not the main refrigerator. So it's all about crafting your story and telling your story. And if people understood that every conversation was a story.
Oh yeah.
Every bit that they talk, every time they're talking about their business, it's 100%. A story. They're the main character. People are so good at making themselves minor characters. If they could find a way of building the main character, who they are, identifying the villains, so we're totally on the same page. I love what you're doing. What methods do you use to, oh my gosh, we're almost out of time. Tell us how people can get in contact with you.
Absolutely. So what we've done is we've taken the questions that we answer for the light version of our persona, and we've made them available to anybody who is looking to better connect with their audience, and all the different things that I mentioned before. So using some of the skills that I learned from you, Roger, I'm going to use tempo and melody changes and things like that to describe. The name of my website is called Q Simple, and that's QUEUEUESIMPLE.com/questions. And you can download those questions and get started on your own right now.
Jon, I adore you. I am so glad that you and I are together. You have written amazing copy for me. You're a friend, and I really appreciate you. And I know that people will love your chapter and learn so much when they read it. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
being
much,
here today to
Dr.
share a little of you with them.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. And I look forward to hearing from the rest of our co-authors.
Wonderful.